Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
And on this Camp Report Show, Bob, I talk with Ben Quiggle from Woodalls about all the major damage that was supposed to happen last week in Florida. We got the real story.
All right. And I've got David Korse, the founder of Glamping USA Americas. It's a trade show, but there's so much that consumers will want to know about glamping. Stay tuned.
It's all happening right here on
the Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everyone. Hey, everybody, it's John from the Camper Report Show, and I want to introduce you to RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding. Now, Brooklyn Bedding will make a mattress to fit any size RV. The unit that we have in our Class C is a Brooklyn Dreamfold Hybrid. Well, we put it in a couple weeks ago. We've been on a couple trips. Sometimes I've slept in it. When I've gone out alone, my wife has slept in it. And you know what? We both had great nights' sleeps. You know, they have their own factory right in Arizona, so that gives them strict quality control. It was easy and fun to set up. You hear that? Wow. Less than 30 seconds. So that is luxury. Now, the thing I like best about this, there is a 120-night sleep trial. 4 months you can try this out. And guess what? It's got a 10-year warranty. We've had it for 2 weeks. Here's the reason I like it. It fits perfectly here where the old mattress was. It was easy to buy. You just go online and there's every choice imaginable, which says a lot because the RV biz has a million different sizes of mattresses. You should order it now. It's 25% off, and give yourself, your family, and anybody else who you travel with the best gift possible, the gift of a great night's sleep. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro. That man over there is Bob Zagami. We've got all the news of the week that we gleaned from the pages of RV Business in Woodall's Campground magazine. And we're going from the heart of America to all over the world and outside of the world as well. And here's all the stores right in the middle of America.
You mean like outer space?
Outer space. Stay with us.
All right.
In the middle of America, Elkhart to be specific, our friends at Lippert are putting on quite a show because the reality is Lippert is growing and growing and growing. And talk about this trade show that they've got coming because there's so many new products that they're debuting.
Well, they're actually doing a preview to the dealer open house because the dealer open house, people are going to be looking at the units, buying brands and buying products, understanding that on some of these units, 80% of the components, whether it's the windows, the doors, the steps, the frames, the chassis, whatever, comes out of a Lippert factory somewhere.
Yep.
So they decided to go early on I think it's the 13th, is it?
13th, yep.
Yeah, 13th in Elkhart for dealers that go early or other suppliers, manufacturers that want to see what Lippert has, and they're going to be introducing another whole set of products. Now, we can't talk about each individual product, but it's amazing that with all the business they do, all the factories they do, they're still reinvesting in research and development to stay up with the requirements of the OEMs. They got a new hydraulic leveling system. They got a new anti-lock braking system. This one I really like. They got a new undermount step that goes under the coach, but when it's out, it gives you no shaking and a solid footing. So it's almost similar to a lot of the steps that you see that fold up into the RV and then close the door. Well, this is giving you the same no bounce design, but it's going to be underneath the carriage on the frame. So it doesn't drift, it doesn't hide anything at the door. More frameless bonded windows, power ramp doors, frameless RV baggage doors, and even a Furrion chill cube variable speed rooftop air conditioner. Another air conditioner. Just
Everything
a
imaginable.
myriad of products, which I'm sure you'll see reported.
Everything imaginable. And you know what? A lot of those products you'll see as you go to one of the several hundred Camping World stores across the country, and they're debuting not only a product exclusively at Camping World, but with a well-recognized and well-respected name on it called Eddie Bauer. They've got 3 units, and talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, they introduced the branded Eddie Bauer product lines in Heartland and Dutchman, and they did it at a ceremony out near Seattle, which is the headquarters of Eddie Bauer, with the mountains in the background.
Yeah,
they're very light. It's very noticeable. They'll be branded separately. Right now, they have 3 units that were on display during the press release: a 23 RB travel trailer, the Heartland 34 BHS travel trailer, and the Dutchman 360 LF fifth wheel. So you you got a bunkhouse model, you got a regular travel trailer, and a fifth wheel. And typically these types of endorsements and products do very well. Other companies have tried them with other name brands. Last week we spoke of KOA doing beer with Meadow Lark Brewing, tying together brand names that people enjoy, and you're going to be seeing these on the dealer lots in the spring.
All over the place. There we go. And other things that you're going to be seeing on dealer lots, but not necessarily in the United States, are the units that 254,000 people viewed just recently from 65 countries at Caravan Salon. You've been to that event, Bob. That is like, I mean, it's like a trade show. It's like a consumer show. It's 2 shows in one in Dusseldorf, Germany. Talk about that event.
Yeah, and these are incredible numbers, and seeing the activity from 65 different countries was amazing for what they had.
I can't even name 65 countries.
But that's true, and I couldn't spell 65 countries. but it's there are 750 exhibitors from 37 countries in the 17 buildings that are over there. Everything from trailers to motorhomes. Of course, trailers they call caravans, and they're motorhomes. And also they have a building for campgrounds and luxury resorts. They have several buildings just for RV accessories to have it. So they're back big time with these kinds of numbers, because there's talk of COVID coming back. There's talk of manufacturing slowdowns. This is a juggernaut that nobody can stop. Nobody can stop it. No,
it's moving. And I'm sure many of the American companies sent representatives. And of course, our friends at Thor would be there because they're part of, the largest manufacturer in the world right now.
Right. And they own Heimer Motor Coach, which they purchased several years ago. And Heimer, last time I was there, Heimer occupied 2 buildings all by themselves.
Amazing.
And they have displays inside and outside. And it's just nonstop RVs. Yep. It is, I've said it before, but it is something that should be on every RVer's bucket list. Build into a vacation, but find yourself in Dusseldorf first week in September, and you will have made it, and you can check it out. In fact, one of the things I saw this morning, and I watched it, is Matt Foxcroft from Matt's RV Reviews has a video on RV
that big Mercedes
from a friend, and he just kind of showcases and wanders around showing several different features, but Matt is being Matt, and he had a great time. And then he took a little bit of footage at the end, and him and Andrea did a little tour of Rome in a little golf cart. So,
okay. I wonder if he put on those Lederhausen outfit.
I don't think he's got a golf shirt and shorts. I don't think he owns anything else, and he bounces.
That would not be a plug. Well, you know what? I'll see him next week, so I'll have to tell him next time he goes to Germany, you got to dress as the Germans do.
Well, he doesn't. Matt
That
doesn't do anything everybody else does.
Nothing. That would not be good for international peace by any means.
Right.
And speaking of international peace and intergalactic peace, how about that one? We've gone from
the middle of America.
World. Huh?
It's out of this world.
Right. We've gone from middle of America to Europe, and now we're going out of this world, but we're going via Oregon and Eclipse Fest featuring Joel Holland and Smash Mouth is taking place with our friends Mark and Julie Bennett. Talk about that once in a lifetime.
You read that quote too from Joel Hall.
Yeah.
Harvest is one of the sponsors, Battleborn Batteries and Open Road. But Joel, who is youthful in his love of this industry, Harvest Host is all about unique experiences. What could be more unique than jamming to Smash Mouth during an epic eclipse? He said, "We are excited to sponsor Eclipse Fest 23 and help bring more unique experiences to outdoor lovers." Now, I must admit, I don't know who Smash Mouth is. I have no idea. It was rock and roll. I'm too old. My generation was before that, and then along came them. But if Joel Holland could find a way to do a Harvest Host on the moon, on the sun,
he would.
He's the guy who would pull it off. He finds.
I don't know if he could do it on the sun, because if he did, he'd have to do it at night. But the reality is, Joel is a very energetic and, how do we say, innovative marketer with Harvest Host.
Yep.
But this is where in somewhere in Oregon. Tell us the who, what, when, where.
It's at Klamath County. It runs October 10th to 15th. It's on the coast. It's the viewing is going to be about 4.5 minutes of actual viewing of the eclipse itself.
Yeah.
And they don't have. No, what is it on? Oh, they still have tickets available for this thing. Early bird all festival passes started only $120. So this is not priced out of this world.
No. Go to rvlove.com.
RV Love, Mark and Julie helped them with some of the sponsors, and we're getting some of the consumers out to this event. But
I think if you go to rvlove.com, they probably have something on their website for it.
Well, either that or Eclipse Fest 23.
Okay, Eclipse Fest 23.
We'll do that.
All over the world.
23. Yep.
You know what?
Take a trip out and see the eclipse.
RVers figure out every reason to get together. And certainly look at once in a lifetime, or once every other year, or depending upon what kind of eclipse it is, there's a whole bunch coming up. But anyway, we want to let you.
It's truly out of this world. RVing is out of this world.
Out of this world, and we are out of time because
they could add it to the Go RVing thing. Go RVing in outer space.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of stretching it, but nevertheless, this is the Camper Report Show. My name's John DePietro. His name's Bob Zagami. We get all our information from our friends at RV Business and Woodalls. And stay with us, because we have a great show lined up for you today. Where, Bob?
On the Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everyone.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Camper Report Show. I've got David Corse, the founder of Glamping Show USA America's 2023. But it's not the first show, David, but it might be the best show. It seems that every year you improve on the event. So tell us a little bit about it for people that may not even know it exists.
Sure. Glamping Show Americas is a trade exhibition and conference for people who are in the business of glamping. So the people who come to the show, the visitors, are either have existing businesses, glamping resorts, or traditional campgrounds or RV parks that have added glamping to the mix. And we have a lot of folks who are coming who are in the process of either doing research on the glamping market or in the process of entering the market. They may have the land, maybe in building the sites, and just haven't quite yet opened. So visitors are people who are or getting ready to be offering glamping, and our exhibitors have everything from structures like tents and teepees and yurts and tiny homes to financial services and insurance and architects and site planners and people doing wastewater disposal and all the things
You
you
know,
would expect for such an event.
it's really a fun agenda. I mean, it's got to be an exciting time. You know, the RV market's down a little bit, but that doesn't mean that campers don't go camping, and many have abandoned their RVs to go glamping. They've done that. You know, when we talked last year, David, you thought that your audience was well, you said your audience was about 1/3 developers, 1/3 campgrounds that are adding glamping facilities, and 1/3 that just said, what is this all about, and why is this so important? How do you think those percentage, are you tracking that over the last 3 or 4 years? How's that track?
Yeah, it's actually the segments are still pretty much the same. It's just the number of people in each segment is larger. Got people who were in the pipeline, were interested, who have now opened their businesses. There are more traditional campgrounds and RV parks who are adding glamping to what they're doing. So glamping has become so popular, and it's continuing to grow, that people are it's still in a pretty dramatic growth mode, and we're lucky enough to be in a place where we can help serve the market.
You know, you certainly are. You're the only place to serve the market. How about new vendors this year? I assume each year you get more new vendors that are coming into space that drives a lot of opportunities for campgrounds. What are you seeing in terms of either the trends or the different types of camping facilities?
Bob, it's amazing. Like any other business, we have a prospect list of people we call and say, hey, you should join us. This year, we probably have 20 or 25 companies that have joined I've never heard of before. They reached out to me and said, hey, we're here. We'd like to be involved. And a lot of them internationally. So we have 145 exhibitors this year, which is substantially larger than last year. But probably 40 of them are brand new to the event. And they're coming from 11 countries around the world. Companies from Turkey and Poland and Spain and South Africa and Australia and China, and obviously the US and Mexico and Canada and the UK. And oh my gosh, they're just coming from Netherlands. They're coming from everywhere. It's not just a regional thing. This is international.
Well, that's an interesting bullet point, because we tend to look at it as insular. We think, it's America and we invented it and we did it right. And then you look at this global perspective and the opportunities for companies in America to go onto the global stage, or other companies that have been doing glamping, but they didn't call it glamping. They had a particular product that would fit the marketplace. Do you see a lot of that coming over there? Are those foreign countries represented? Are they more to be the manufacturers that want to sell their goods here, or are they wanting to learn about glamping to add to an existing business?
It's more on the vendor side. We didn't invent glamping. We're kind of late to the party. Glamping was much better established in Western Europe and in the UK. And it started slipping across and got picked up here, a decade ago or something like that. Now we have a bigger market and it's growing faster than every place else. But the glamping show actually started in the United Kingdom. In fact, I'm going to the UK glamping show next week, looking for more international vendors who might be interested in coming over and joining us in 2024. So these are all, again, some of the structure manufacturers. If you think about glamping, some of it starts back with African safaris, going on safari.
Right.
And
right.
We've got a couple of different manufacturers who are South African, who have been there, 100 years, been there from the beginning, who are coming over here.
Yep.
On the visitor side, 99% of the people who come as visitors are coming from the Americas, a little over 90% from the States. Most of the rest are coming from either Canada or an increasingly large number coming from Mexico and farther south, all the way down to Patagonia, all through South America. So they're coming up here, or from Canada, they're coming down here because it's the same business. It's just a chance to see the products and services. They can see more in those 2 days of the expo. It would take them years to do all the desk research to see all the different opportunities, the different alternatives for their businesses.
From the consumer perspective, what do consumers have to look forward to after the show? What types are the new types of glamping facilities? We've got covered wagons, we've got tents, we got yurts, but you must be attracting things we didn't even think about before.
And we have teepees, and we have geodesic domes, and we have bubbles, and we have tree houses, and we have this year, for the first time, we have a company that's doing 3D printed structures. So I mean, you can kind of design what you want and say, I like it, or I like the wall over there and a window over here, and they're using recycled materials and just doing 3D printing, and it's yours. It ships out. So there's an incredible diversity of structures, but furnishings and accessories, and a lot of businesses are adding things to make themselves a little different. So people are offering whitewater rafting and zip lining and skeet shooting and trap shooting and ATVs and mining for gold and all these different activities on site to compete with their other glamping structures, glamping sites that may not have those things in their market. So everybody's trying to distinguish themselves as being somehow different, more than just where they're located, but the things, the activities that are there. Some are offering on-site food and beverage.
What I find interesting, what I find interesting is there still is, I think, but I'm looking from the RV side, but it seems to be a misunderstanding of what glamping is. It's kind of still an unknown. And my reference point to that is my two daughters, one 45 and 140, who go glamping. They go to Terramore. They go out to Auto Camp. They go out to these high-end resorts and think nothing of paying $350 or $450 a night. And then you see people that criticize them. I posted a comment the other day. Normandy Farms had which is a great resort here in New England. They had an opening for several of their glamping tents over Labor Day weekend, some cancellations. And they posted that they're available for 3 nights. It was $956. What surprised me was the negative comments from current campers about the cost of it. And yet, in the indoor hospitality, whether you go to Caesar's Palace or a Fairfield Inn or a Holiday Inn, it is not, they fully understand that there are $50 a night hotels and there are $1,000 a night hotels. But I don't sense that a lot of the campers relate that business acumen to the glamping world. So you can go to Normandy Farms and rent a tent site for $100 a night, but some people want the glamping. Does this come into the discussions when you look at the way that you present your business programs? Are we at a point where we're seeing more of this or less of this, or am I just looking at it in a very small window?
Well, it may be a little bit of a small window. There are obviously places that are $300, $400, $500 a night. There's some places that are more, but there are also places where you can go glamping for $125 or $150 a night. So it really depends on the structures. It depends on where you are, but it also depends on the amenities. When people ask me about glamping, and I wish there was a great definition, somebody's going to come up with one soon. But from my point of view, it's basically the thing that is different from camping or RVing. If you're going to go to a campground, you got to bring your stuff. You need a tent or a sleeping bag. You've got to bring stuff with you. If you're going to go RVing, you probably should have a recreational vehicle, whether it's a motorhome or a trailer or whatever it is. You're going to have something. I don't care if it's a VW camper, but you got to have something you're bringing with you. With glamping, you basically need a toothbrush, and they may actually have one there if you forget it. You kind of show up. And I think that's the reason why the business model is exploding. A traditional campground who has this wonderful venue and people are bringing their own stuff and they have some extra room, can create some room, put up some structures for people who don't want to bring stuff. They don't want to sleep on the ground. But they want to enjoy where they are. They don't have to have an RV. They can show up at a great RV site They put up a couple of tents or domes or something, and they can still enjoy the venue without having to either drive a motorhome or haul a trailer. They can just show up. And for folks like you and me, or kind of the baby boomers of the world, maybe don't want to roll out a sleeping bag, or someone who doesn't want to worry about how tall my RV is and going under a low-hanging bridge and worry about that stuff. You can just show up. And glamping to me is just showing up. And that's very attractive to a lot of people, especially with a price range in the low hundreds, all the way up to way more than the low hundreds.
Well, that's a great explanation. You got to put that down in print or put it on your book. It's the result of this explosion, if you will, of appreciation of the outdoors, whether you're 19 years old or you're 99 years old. That's something that's not going to go away. That's going to continue to build. And the glamping industry is going to continue to provide these types of opportunities for people to get out and enjoy the great outdoors. Our guest this morning is David Korse, founder of the Glamping Show Americas. Glamping Show America. That's a little easier, David.
Yeah, we had to get rid of the USA because it wasn't just the USA anymore.
Right,
people
right.
from all over.
So from a business standpoint, people who are looking to get into the business, who, as you said, are, they have an existing campground, but they say, you know what, I got some extra space, and instead of making an extra 50 camping lots, I'll just put 10 glamping sites and have my own little village within it. Talk about the types of seminars, because I think that's an incredible part of the program. Obviously, you want to touch and feel, but the quality of any event really comes down to the educational aspect of it. And I don't think I've ever seen an event that has the programs that you've put together that are so specific to, this is not go kick the tires. This is a road. If you want to be in this business, you got to be at Glamping Show Americas. So talk to the bankers, the investors, the people who have done it. Talk about that a little bit before we wind up here.
Sure. Well, all the credit for that goes to my partner, Sally, who puts together the conference program. But so there are three components to it. On the Monday before the expo opens, day before, we have 2 workshops, and we're defining a workshop as 3.5 hours. It's not just a seminar. This is a big immersive thing. The one on Monday morning is all about money. It's called Funding Your Glamping Business. If you're thinking about doing this, or if you're doing it, you're looking to expand, you're looking to, how do I borrow money? Where do I find investors? What do I do about money? This is 3.5 hours of experts, bankers, investors, equity investors, just talking about money and the business of glamping. So Glamping Business Basics is on Monday afternoon, 3.5 hours of just an overview of how the business works, the things you need to know. If you're thinking about doing this or want to know some of the things to worry about, a checklist, if you will, this is where you hear from experts about the business of glamping. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got 8 sessions, 4 a day for the 2 days, which are more tactical. Our keynote on Tuesday, we're doing the first ever research report. I just finished it on the glamping business. We're going out to business operators and saying, what are you finding? Is the business growing? Are your daily rates going up or are they going down? What are the obstacles to growing your business? We've got Terramore and KOA coming in on Tuesday and talking about how you build a brand. If it's not, how do you get brand equity? What do you do so people talk about you? So 8 very specific hour-long sessions. Everything we're doing is about how you make more money, how you launch a business, how do you save money, how do you grow, how do you make money? That's everything we do is about that. It's not a consumer event. We don't invite consumers to the show. This is the business of glamping. If you're doing business in Canada, North or South America, be with us in Colorado in 4 weeks.
Well, it's amazing, and you're right. And it's great to see somebody like KOA. If you talk about building a brand, so here's a very well-established brand. Everybody in the camping industry knows it, and they are right there with glamping, and they are creating the resorts. So it is truly for everybody. David, I want to thank you very much for sneaking us into your schedule this morning, and you're out there in California kind of early, but great to see you. Great to see you again. Have a good time over in Europe, and knock them out in Colorado come October 3rd to 5th, right?
Yep, and actually the 2nd to 4th, 2, 3, and 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of October, and one of these days we got to get your butt out there so you can see what we're doing in person.
It's on the list, David.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
David,
See
thank
ya.
you very much.
You're
Bye
welcome.
now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Camp Report Show. My name is John DePietro, and with me today is our special guest. He's always special because he always has something to tell us about that no one else knows about. And everybody say hello to Ben Quiggle, who is the editor-in-chief at Woodall's Campground magazine. Ben, welcome back to the Camp Report Show.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me back.
You know, we just had you on a few weeks ago. We were talking about, what to do in bad weather. And guess what, Ben? Bad weather came, and last week, just about a few days ago, Hurricane Idalia, is that how you say it?
I think so.
Was threatening Florida, and we were going to talk to you, right during the middle of the storm, but we said, let's wait, let's see what the damage clears, because as you know, Ben, in the news media business, the mainstream media, they're looking for pictures of destroyed campers and campgrounds that the pool has dolphins swimming in it and that type of thing. But you know what? Our friends in Florida kind of dodged a bullet this time, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any photos of dolphins in pools. And we really haven't seen any photos of damage either, besides maybe some trees toppled over. So, I mean, that's great news. And I know we reached out to the Carolinas, and they didn't really say they had any damage at all, the association out there from the parks. So, I mean, I guess that's great news for everyone involved. So,
and you know what? It was a real fast-moving storm, because I think it hit down in, I think Perry, Florida was one of the first places that it hit. And there was some news footage of a news reporter standing in water up to her ankles, where she said before that it was almost up to her knees. But you didn't see anything extraordinary in the background. But you did tell me one very interesting sidebar on this whole conversation about storms. I know where we live in Massachusetts, at one time a tornado came through and tore apart a library at a college, and they found the library books 150 miles away because they still had the little label on it. Something happened with our fine feathered friends in Florida. Tell us that story, Ben. Would you have the exclusive on?
Yeah. So I guess flamingos have been spotted in Ohio, which I don't know if flamingos are native to Ohio. I don't think they are. They're more tropical birds. So that's been kind of interesting to see the pink flamingos in Ohio. So, it's great that the destruction wasn't as bad as they predicted, but hopefully the rest of the hurricane season goes just as smoothly. I know, besides the parks, other people are dealing with damage, but it's great to see that most people escaped without a lot of damage. So,
well, exactly, because you know what? I mean, this is the right of the time of year. I mean, it's hurricane season, and it runs through November 30th, almost past Thanksgiving and almost right to Christmas. And this is the time, if people are heading to Florida, they're probably starting, if not have already completed, their reservations. And the last thing they want to have happen is have a place that they had the reservation on and find out that it's not going to be habitable, just like last year up in Fort Myers, where Sanibel Island and everything around there, the brick and mortar buildings are still in great disrepair. So that's certainly a benefit.
Yeah, I mean, the hurricane season's definitely gotten off to a little bit of a fast start. We had the one in California. We had this one, which was a pretty big storm when it hit. And then I think there's another one coming down the pipeline, one or two more that are out there in the Caribbean that are kind of stirring around. So we'll have to see what those ones look like. But hopefully The people with the reservations, hopefully their parks don't get hit too bad from any storms this fall, and we can have a good start to the snowbird season, which I've heard is going to be pretty strong this year in the southern part of the U.S. So
Yeah, and any particular reason for that increase in activity that you're able to figure out?
in the hurricane activity or the camper?
No, I'm in the increased camping. The increased business.
Camping. I think that the snowbird levels have been pretty high for the last few years, and I think that's just going to keep maintaining. I mean, I don't know about you, John, but when I talk to people up here in the northern state, I live in Michigan, you live in Massachusetts, people are all the time talking about how they wish they could go to Florida during the winter. So I think people who have the means are just finding ways to get down there during the winter.
You must have read my mind, because just before I hit the record button on here, my wife and I were talking about, are we going to go to Florida in January or February? Because this is our first time.
Yep.
We're not babysitting, so we're officially retired. And in January, we want to head out to Quartzsite, and then make our way back into Florida.
Yeah.
So we're at least, you're correct on at least two more people that have never done this before.
My dream month to go to Florida would be February. I can make it through the holidays, and even January is typically not that bad here in Michigan, but by the time you get to February, it's snowy and cold and it's dark all the time because we never see the sun.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for Florida. So
yeah, I mean, you are close to the Arctic Circle, so you get 6 months or 12 hours of darkness.
I'm not that close. It's just cloudy all the time.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you know what, Ben, we should tell our friends that are watching that if they want to find out about particular campgrounds, at least in Florida, just go to campflorida.com. Those are the folks What is the precise title of their association? Florida.
I'm going to get in trouble now because they changed it a year or so ago. It's Florida RV Parks and Campgrounds Association. Okay. I believe that's the right one.
And they bring you up to date on everything that's going on. And,
really, Camp Florida is their consumer facing site. And that's a great place to find out all of the different news about how campgrounds are doing and which campgrounds are open and have sites. I know they do a lot of work on the snowbird end to make sure they can connect people who need sites with sites. So
help out that Florida economy.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. So Ben, we want to thank you so much for giving us that update here. It's nice that we're not showing pictures of destruction and campgrounds that are going to be closed for 2 years. And we dodged a bullet.
Yeah, we did. And if I see any flamingos, I'll try to take pictures of them.
Okay. So we'll be keeping an eye out. So Ben Quiggle, thank you so much. And folks, if you want to keep up on all of Ben's activities, Ben, what is the weekly and you do a daily blog as well. So how can our group find out about that?
Just subscribe. You can connect with us at woodallcm.com, or we have on Facebook, Woodall's Campground Magazine. We're also on LinkedIn, and we also have a YouTube channel. If you look up Woodall's Campground Magazine, you can see all of our different shows that we produce. So
Ben is everywhere.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you, Ben. This is the Camper Report Show.